Well, welcome to Hangin' With. I'm GW Pomichter. Thanks for logging on and tuning in. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit subscribe down there. Come on back later on to see some more great authors and artists. If this is your first time watching Hangin' With, thanks for tuning in. We're really grateful to have you here. We're also grateful for our friends over at Something Unique Magazine, this great online magazine. They feature artists, authors, musicians, filmmakers, great, and they feature our videos on their page. So we love them for sharing these artists with people. We also love the people over at Awesomeness TV. We were talking earlier off camera about technology and how it's working. The folks at Awesomeness TV share YouTuber videos with other YouTubers and kind of around. They help you kind of go viral. That term that all the kids use, go viral.
It's
I don't
magic.
know. It is. It's magic. They do magic I don't understand, and I love them for it. And they do it for us. And we want to thank Lou Belcher. We want to thank over at the Florida Book News. They've offered to share our videos too. And they're a blog that brings attention to Florida writers, organization, and events all across the state. We're so grateful for them helping us out. And just to be here. We are at the 8th annual EauGalie Art Festival in historic downtown EauGalie district of Melbourne, Florida. This is my hometown, folks. It's sunny and 70 out there now. Earlier it was raining. But come on down to the art festival if you see this. You're not going to see this. You should have been at the art festival. Anyway, we want to do a special thanks to Author for Authors. They are the ones who organized this event and put all of us in the same room. And they invited Dr. Valerie Allen, Holly Fox, Bella Coop, and Marshall Frank. We interviewed all of them earlier. Amazing artists and authors. And so much work going on here.
Yes.
It is great. So we are hanging here today. You just watch us talk back and forth. Maybe you want to know who we're talking to. So we are hanging today with Linda Zern. And Linda is the creator and author of Beyond the Excuse me, that's another blooper reel. Anyway, Beyond the Strand Line, the series, right?
Yes, it is.
And it's right here, Beyond the Strand Line. I can read it better here than I can there. Okay, and The Long Promise song.
That is correct.
Okay, and many more. It says many
others.
more.
I'm writing my way through the genre list.
Wonderful.
I know.
No specific genre. You're just kind of going to hit them all.
Not yet, but we'll see.
You'll find out if you got a niche there, right? Okay, wonderful. Well, first we're going to start with the weekend. How's it going for you here?
You know, the best part of this is talking to people like you and talking to other authors and just seeing how they do it, how they set it up, what works, what doesn't work, and I have so many things to think about, and that's exciting.
We learn so much from each other.
It's great.
It is a wonderful environment, a wonderful vibe, and to top it all off, we get to see some readers and sell some books maybe.
Well, you know, I mean...
That's just kind of a bonus at the end of the weekend, you know?
It might be great.
Yeah, it would. I'll tell you, it's hard. It's hard. And
publishing has changed so much, though, and I think this is just the beginning of a wave of new...
This is a revolution.
It's a revolution.
It is.
Yes, it is.
I'm telling you, we have gotten to the point where I was talking to other authors. Are you an indie author, or do you traditionally
I am absolutely indie author.
Indie author, okay. And so I was talking to other authors, and we were saying that, you know, in the 1600s, one guy had a printing press.
And
it was one guy. It changed the world. And then 400 years later, there were a bunch of printing presses, but they were still controlled by little groups of guys in suits. And then print on demand happened. And then the World Wide Web started selling digital copies of books. And all of a sudden, it was a boom. And there's good and there's bad. But the readers decide. It's not some guy that says, "Can I sell that?" It's the readers. And if you make a little money, you make a little money. And if you don't, you got your art out. Everybody's got a story to tell.
I know. I believe that sincerely.
That is, it's amazing. Now tell us about Beyond the Strand Line.
This is if the Hunger Games happened to you or me. This is if the lights went out.
It's too thick to happen to me because I'd be dead in the first 5 minutes.
Yes, you would. The lights went out, Pizza Hut's offline, you're not getting anything food-wise. This is prepper fiction, which is a very unique genre. It's a very... do you know what that is?
I do. Oddly enough, my next book, I'm partnering. I have a partner, a writer. We are writing what we call a half apocalyptic. Because what I said was, our premise is we put an EMP.
Oh my gosh.
We did the research at an altitude over DC.
Oh my gosh.
And the entire East Coast
this
goes
is
black.
Fabulous. Mine's a solar flare. Solar
Outstanding.
flare.
See? And I said, so the power goes out on the East Coast, and we're all left here. But we said, we want to be realistic.
Right. This is realism.
Most preppers say, look, it'll all fall apart. You're going to go to hell.
Right.
I said, wait. Truth be told, I've done the research now.
Yeah.
The U.S. government doesn't fail. We have a plan. And so what would happen if the rest of the country was still in the lights? They're still wired. We're in here. You have to think of it like a third world crisis. So all of a sudden, the West has to help the East. And we chose the East Coast on purpose. We did that on purpose. It is, because we chose the East Coast on purpose because New York is there and D.C. is there. The centers of things.
Sure.
So what happens when the lights go off and the center of things is actually out there? And our capital, we send our president to Nebraska. There's actually a bunker there. We did the research. We sent her to a bunker in Nebraska and had to build things up again.
Well, this
is great.
Is Central Florida. It's a family that has prepared. What happens when you've prepared and no one else has? They've been isolated for 7 years. The rule is you don't leave the ranch. One of them does, and then
ensues. Yes.
Ensues.
And no zombies.
No zombies.
No lasers.
Nothing.
Just
but now
let
me give you the warning. The warning is this. Like I had a couple of my beta readers say to me, "Oh, I can't read this. It's going to give me bad dreams." I went, "Really?"
How'd you start writing? What made you want to do this?
You know what? I read every book in the world, and when I ran out of books, I had to start writing my own. I have been a reading fiend, and I think that readers become writers.
I think even if you don't put pen to paper, your mind goes to work.
You are storytellers. There's a storytelling
The human being is a storyteller.
Yes.
We've been doing it since we sat around the fire.
You bet.
And I remember back in college, I took a course in basically horror fiction.
Sure.
And I had a wonderful teacher. And we talked a little bit about the progression of scary stories and how it went from what was beyond the firelight, what you couldn't see in the dark. And we just created a world in the dark that we couldn't see.
Right.
And it really is what makes us different. It's what makes us evolve. And so...
And how to explain those dark and scary woods.
Wow. They are dark and they are scary. And they get scarier when we turn the lights off. So Beyond the Strand Line. Where'd that title come from?
Now, the Strand Line is an interesting word because it's very Florida, but I have found that a lot of Floridians don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is.
What?
I swear to God.
That's not. You can't be right.
Okay, come on.
So a strand line is that line on the beach
Uh-huh.
that's left after high tide.
Oh, that's
Right.
a strand line.
A strand line. So these are the people left on the beach after high tide. And now, what are they going to do to start again?
Amazing. That's wonderful. Now,
it's so funny that you know what this is about.
I love it. I do, because we started writing it. Man, the sad thing is that my writing partner and I, William Dupree, is my writing partner. And when we started doing this, we thought we were so unique. We thought we were special. She beat us to it. But we're gonna go big. It's go big or go home, and that's what we're gonna do. So we were asking our authors what the biggest challenge as an indie author. What's the biggest challenge you face?
You've heard this 100 times, I'm sure. It's getting your head above the morass that is now publishing.
Yes.
And being noticed when you are in the big swamp of...
Welcome to the show. We hope they get noticed. That's what we're here for. That's why we do what we do.
I appreciate that a lot. That's
I'm an indie author. And we decided, I said, how do I market myself? I don't know how to do that. I'm a journalist. I don't know how to. We don't stand up and do that. We tell stories. We're storytellers. I'm a storyteller. I said the best way to market myself, I'm going to tell your story, and then people will know who I am. I think maybe I tell them like 3 times during the show, so they don't forget. But yeah, and what's the most rewarding experience though? I mean, with all those challenges, what's the most rewarding?
Do you see this?
Isn't that amazing?
Do you see this? It was here.
And now it's here.
In the ether.
And now it's here. And you know
now
what?
it is here.
And you know where it's going to be? It's going to be out there. They're going to read it.
I know.
They're going to read it. They're going to love it.
Yeah.
And so they're going to see that.
Creation is the greatest part.
It is.
Creation.
Amazing. Wow. I love an artist who is an artist. That's what you are. You create it, you put it out there. If they read it, they read it. If they don't, they don't. If you make a buck, you make a buck. But really, you took it from here.
Yeah.
You know, from what the Indians used to call the Akashic field. It was in the universe, and now it was and now it's here.
That is a very powerful feeling.
It is. It is. I love it. I love it when I do it. I love it when I see it in other artists. It's amazing to see. If there was an artist out there where they're just getting started, hadn't had their book out there yet, maybe they're having some things, maybe they got their paintbrush in their hand, but the canvas is just, it's that's what it's doing, okay? What advice would you give them?
I would say that no matter what you do, there aren't going to be enough of something in your book. Too much cussing, not enough cussing, too many bears, no bears, whatever, I don't know. The reviews are going to come in, and let the reviews fall where they may, and you write what you write.
You know what? Best advice ever. You have a story, tell your story. I talked to a younger indie author earlier, and I told him, look, out there in the world, be that one guy that loves you, thinks you wrote the best book in the world.
And when they come up to you and grab you by the shoulders and say, Linda, I could not put your book down. I stayed up all night and read this book.
That's right.
You will run, not walk, back to your keyboard.
That's right. You'll start writing again. But there's going to be that other guy.
Oh, yeah.
And he's going to hate your book.
Yes.
And you're going to see that. And I said, I promise you, you're going to meet that guy. Just have a thick skin and remember, it was your story. It was your creation, your baby. You put it out there, and that took more courage than most people understand.
Courage.
Pushing publish.
Yes.
Pushing the publish button and saying, I will be judged by the world.
Yes.
That's an amazing thing to do.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm glad you did it because this sounds like an amazing, I can't wait to read this. And so,
thank you.
Unique and unusual. You've been making the circuit here.
I have.
Doing?
That's the other thing. This is the second book fair I've done in my entire life.
Awesome.
And I have no idea what I'm doing, but you know what? I can be taught, and I can learn.
Awesome.
So there you go.
Awesome. So when you're coming to these fairs and things, have you seen anything particularly unique or something special that popped out? Have you learned anything really that you want to share with the world and
I love the idea. Again, it's generational. I don't think about Kindle versions of books. I think of physical books in my hand, and I've noticed that the authors have the little thing on the back of their cards that you scan and
you get a book.
And I'm like, you're scanning these. They're amazing. And I need to do that. That's my next little goal.
I don't know how this works.
I don't either. I'm telling you, this is all quite shocking.
I don't know how it works.
I'm afraid you are stealing my soul right now.
I know. I talk, you talk, they do something. I don't know how it works, but the world will see it, and they'll love it, I think.
I don't know.
So what are you working on right now?
The sequel to this.
The sequel to this, okay.
And many other and sundry things.
Just keep going.
I just
crank
can't
it out.
Stop.
Well, where can we find?
Amazon, of course.
Amazon, okay.
My website, which is zippitysrns.com.
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 That's awesome. That's a great website.
Thanks.
I should have thought of that. I didn't think of that. Why didn't I think of that? Zippitysrns.com. You can find this book also at Amazon. I'm sure other online markets.
Yes.
Do a Google search. Search Beyond the Strand Line, which I now know is the line on the beach after high tide. That's awesome. I know that now. Well, we're about out of time. Because they tell me I have to do more and more and more and more. There's so many great artists here. This is fantastic. I'm loving it. Man, I love it. It's great. I get the best job. I sit next to pretty girls and talk all day long.
There you
That's
go.
amazing to me. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for hanging with us. Thank you, Linda, for hanging with us.
Welcome.
We had a great time.
This is awesome.
Thanks to Something Unique Magazine for sharing these interviews all over the World Wide Web. For more episodes of Hanging With, check back to this YouTube channel, hit subscribe, and it'll come to you and tell you, go there and watch that. Go to the iTunes store, grab the podcast on your iOS device if you have a iPad, iPod, iPhone, if you live an iLife. Then go ahead and go to the iTunes store. Maybe take a quick run on the internet. Grab the link down in the description to the Hangin' With swag store. We go to cafepress.com/hangingwith. We get t-shirts, coffee mugs, ball caps.
It's the World Wide Web.
It's the World Wide Web. And you get all that Hangin' With swag. It says Hangin' With. It's got a really ugly guy on the front of it. And but you can share that. And the reason that we put those things out there is so that we can keep doing the show. We can go to these conferences, we can share these artists and authors with you. So go and show some support. I'm GW Pomichter. We've been hanging with Linda L. Zern, or on the World Wide Web, zippitysern.com. And she's the author of Beyond the Strand Line and the Long Promised Song. Beyond the Strand Line is part of a series. It's got more coming soon. So stay tuned to Amazon. If you get a chance, go down there and subscribe to this channel. Log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next.